Alexander Cole was a man who didn't believe in love. The CEO of Cole & Co. Holdings, a global real estate empire, he had everything: money, power, charm, and a reputation that made even the bravest employees walk in silence when he passed. His office sat at the top floor, glass walls overlooking the skyline. Everything about him was sharp: his tailored suits, his cold eyes, his quiet authority. He dated no one. The tabloids wrote rumors that he was heartless, that women weren't his weakness, that work was his only obsession. And for a long time, that was true. Until she walked into his building. Her name was Ayana. She was new, quiet, soft-spoken. Every morning she arrived before dawn, before the secretaries, before the interns, her uniform neat, her hair tied back, her face free of makeup. Most of the staff barely noticed her. She was the girl mopping the marble floors, wiping tables after lunch, moving silently through glass halls. But she carried something they didn't: grace. A softness that didn't belong in a world of noise and ambition. And though she tried to shrink into the background, her beauty spoke loudly. Her figure, gentle but strong. Her smile, shy but warm. The first day he saw her, Alexander paused mid-step. She was bending to pick a fallen folder near the elevator. A simple moment, but it felt different. Something about the way she tucked her hair behind her ear, the way her eyes avoided his, the way she whispered sorry, even when it wasn't her fault. For the first time in years, the CEO felt something stir in his chest. The top floor was filled with women who looked like they'd stepped out of magazines. Long nails, designer dresses, red lips. They laughed loudly in hallways, always found reasons to deliver files to the CEO's office, and often lingered too long. There was Chanel, the PR manager with perfect curls, and Tasha, the HR assistant who made sure her perfume reached the boardroom before she did. They all wanted Alexander's attention. They wore their confidence like crowns, each trying to outshine the other. But Alexander never looked twice. His compliments were polite, distant. He never flirted, never invited anyone close. So when his eyes began to follow the cleaner, the girl with no heels, no makeup, no designer bag, whispers began. She cleans the bathrooms. She doesn't even wear lipstick. What could he possibly see in her? They didn't understand. They were busy performing beauty. She was beauty, effortless, humble, unbothered. Days turned into weeks. Every morning, Ayana passed his office quietly, head down. But Alexander began timing his coffee breaks differently, stepping out just as she arrived. "Good morning," he'd say. She'd blink, startled. "Good morning, sir." Just that, simple, but to him it was refreshing. Once, he saw her struggling to carry cleaning supplies. Without a word, he took a few bottles from her tray. "Let me help." Her eyes widened. "Oh no, sir, I can't let you." "It's fine, I insist." She stammered a soft thank you, cheeks warm, heart racing. For the rest of the day, she couldn't stop replaying that moment. And he found himself smiling at his reflection, confused but amused. By now, everyone had noticed the CEO's subtle attention. Chanel once accidentally dropped a pen near his chair, hoping he'd notice her perfume. He didn't. Tasha brought him coffee, smiling sweetly. He thanked her, then walked past her to hold the door open for Ayana, who was pushing her mop. The office was buzzing with envy. The cleaner, they whispered, must have done something. But Ayana was just being herself, shy, hardworking, avoiding trouble. She didn't know how deeply she'd gotten under the CEO's skin. One Friday evening, the sky broke open. Nairobi rain poured hard and sudden, drumming on rooftops. Staff rushed out, covering their hair, calling taxis. Yana stayed behind, finishing her shift, humming softly to herself. When she finally stepped outside, the compound was almost empty, and the rain was merciless. She hugged her small bag, watching the flooded road. That's when headlights flashed. A sleek black Range Rover slowed beside her. The window rolled down. "Get in," said a familiar, deep voice. Her eyes widened. "Sir, I can't." "You'll catch a cold," he said softly. Please, Ayana. She hesitated, then nodded, stepping into the warm leather seat. The air inside smelled of cedar and faint cologne. She sat stiffly, hands folded on her lap. He glanced at her, smiling slightly. You can relax, I don't bite. She laughed nervously, her heart beating fast. The drive was quiet, the city lights reflecting off wet roads. Every now and then their eyes met, and every time she looked away first. When they reached her neighborhood, he parked under a jacaranda tree. The rain softened, and the world grew still. Thank you, sir, she said softly, unbuckling. But he didn't answer immediately. His gaze lingered on her, the raindrops in her hair, the soft tremble in her hands. Ayana, he said finally, voice low, you don't have to call me sir outside the office. She looked at him, confused. What should I call you then? Alexander. She smiled shyly. Okay, Alexander. Something shifted in the air. Her name on his lips, his name on hers, it felt intimate. For a moment, neither moved. Their eyes spoke curiosity, fear, longing. Then he reached for her hand, slow, careful. She didn't pull away. His fingers brushed hers, warm against her cool skin. It wasn't a kiss. It wasn't a confession. Just a touch, electric, forbidden, gentle. She inhaled sharply, her breath shaky. He squeezed her hand softly. Good night, Ayana. She stepped out into the rain, heart pounding like thunder. By Monday, gossip was wildfire. She was seen in his car. Maybe she's his secret girlfriend. No way, the CEO doesn't date cleaners. Yana heard it all. She kept her head low, working twice as hard, refusing to feed the rumors. But Alexander saw her shrinking under their eyes. So he started doing small things, greeting her openly, thanking her during meetings, asking for her help in front of others. It wasn't pity, it was protection. And soon, the whispers turned into silence, because no one dared question the man who ran the company. Weeks later, Alexander found her in the break room, cleaning a coffee spill left by someone careless. Ayana, he said. She straightened immediately. Yes, sir, I mean Alexander. He smiled. Do you ever rest? She chuckled. Not really, but I don't mind. He hesitated, then stepped closer. I've been wanting to tell you something. Her heart skipped. What is it? He took a breath. I've spent my life building walls, but since you came, I can't explain it. You're different. You make this place feel alive. Her lips parted, eyes wide. Sir, Ayana, he whispered, I'm falling for you. The words hung in the air, heavy and gentle. She froze, her heart screamed yes, but her mind whispered no. She was just a cleaner. He was a CEO. People would talk. I don't know what to say. Then don't, he said softly. You don't have to say anything, just don't walk away. Her cheeks flushed, eyes shining. She nodded. Okay. After that day, everything changed. They moved like two planets caught in orbit, circling, close but never colliding. He'd wait for her in the morning, bringing her coffee. She'd blush and thank him, pretending it meant nothing. At meetings, he'd glance at her reflection in the glass walls. At lunch, he'd accidentally walk through the hall she cleaned. But she resisted, shy, unsure, guarding her heart. The other women noticed. Their jealousy burned hotter. Chanel wore shorter skirts. Tasha baked him cupcakes. None of it worked. Because when Ayana smiled, he melted. The company's annual gala arrived. Gowns, champagne, chandeliers. Yana wasn't invited. Cleaners never were. But that evening, Alexander sent her a small box. Inside was a soft gold dress, simple, elegant. And a note, come please. She almost didn't, but something inside her whispered, go. When she entered the ballroom, conversation stopped. Every head turned. The cleaner transformed into a vision. Alexander crossed the floor, his gaze fixed only on her. You came, he said softly. You asked, she whispered. He offered his hand. Dance with me. She hesitated, everyone was watching. But his hand was warm, his eyes sincere, so she took it. They moved slowly under the golden lights, his hand firm on her waist, her breath shallow. It wasn't just a dance, it was a declaration. He looked at her as if she was the only woman in the world. And for the first time, Ayana let her guard down. After the gala, he walked her to the terrace. The city glowed below, the air soft and cool. "Are you still shy?" he teased. She smiled. "Maybe." He stepped closer. "Can I tell you something?" "Yes." "I've kissed no one in years," he said softly. "But right now, I want to kiss you." Her breath caught. She looked into his eyes, saw no arrogance, only tenderness. Her heart said yes. Her voice whispered, "Okay." He leaned in slow, deliberate, giving her time to pull away. She didn't. Their lips met gently, like two secrets finally spoken. Her hands trembled, his lingered on her cheek. It was warm, patient, full of all the words they hadn't said. When they pulled apart, she was blushing, smiling shyly. "I'm not used to this," she murmured. "Neither am I," he admitted. By Monday, everyone knew. The cleaner and the CEO. The whispers came back, but louder. Yet this time, Ayana stood tall. And Alexander didn't hide. He took her to lunch, held her hand in public, looked at her like she was his piece. Soon, the same people who mocked her began greeting her differently, respectfully, carefully. Love had shifted the power, quietly, beautifully. Months passed. She got promoted from cleaner to office coordinator. He said, "I only gave her what she deserved." Their love grew, soft, stable, strong. He'd bring her flowers every Monday. She'd pack his lunch every Friday. And sometimes, when the office lights dimmed, he'd pull her close and whisper, "Do you remember the rain?" She'd smile. How could I forget? The man who had everything finally found the one thing he never had: someone who loved him, not his title. And the girl they once overlooked became the woman